The new teaser we got, the video, is absolutely terrifying. It's by far the best teaser we've gotten, in my opinion, but it also has a lot of questions involved with it because of some things in particular in regarding the voices and the scenes and imagery we get. Because if we go on to the actual page, of course we have the singing of downtown, along with a lot of distortion and whatnot. Now, this whole thing here is going to be very important, I feel, in the series alone, because I have a feeling this is the tape player. I have a feeling this is the in-canon, in-universe tape player that I'm pretty sure it's Anthony Miller, who collects the tapes, uses. And I think this is very, very interesting because in this teaser right here, it's just terrifying. Because in every way, it's terrifying, in my opinion. I mean, the music alone, I can't exactly play the music without pitching it down in editing because of how much copyright there is. So I'm going to try and just kind of pause on the scenes that I want to explain. But yeah, here is the main image I want to be talking about, because this is the one that seems to be confusing a lot of people. And I was looking at it, I think I was on the Twitter space when I was kind of like breaking this teaser down in specifics. I think this is Rosemary's death scene. I outright think this is the floor of the aftermath of the scene, because here I can see floor panels. They are the checkered floors covered with blood, of course, right? Now, here, I'm going to make a bold guess right now. I think that's Bond's collar. I think that white here is Bond's collar, because realistically, what else is that going to be? Let's be real. I think that's Bond's collar, and I think that's the actual, like, view of Bond tearing off a limb of Rosemary, and that's all the blood on the floor. Obviously, we have the kind of this sheep photos in the entire teaser all the way through with all music and stuff. And, of course, we have a massive black gap here. I'm actually not too sure if there's anything there if we brighten it up. I highly doubt there is, but I will brighten it up for the sake of the video. But in case here, I think that's just another shot of the sheep. We have the sheep, of course, but I feel it's just because it's so teared up, it's so hard to distinguish what this even is. My main guess, of course, is the floor, but I think this is what we are looking at in the fact that this is multiple, like basically a collage of photos from the scene. I think right here we have the floor. Up here we have Bond. We have a blanked out place over here. We have obviously the sheep from the teaser with a bit of the blood here on the floor. Actually looks like intestines. That looks like guts. It doesn't look like just blood splatter. That looks like intestines or something like that. And again, we have I'm assuming it's just another part of the photo, just more bloodied up. But I definitely think that this is not just blood right here. That looks like organs and stuff. That looks like guts. That looks like actual carnage stuff. Because we do know Rosemary's death is fairly gory. Of course, we know she gets teared limb from limb, so it's not the most pleasant of deaths for Rosemary. Okay, so this is the brightened up image. Now, this is it. Extremely brightened up. Now, this is interesting because, again, I can definitely see the floor. Also, people are saying that's the sheep's legs. Yes, that's the sheep's legs. That is not a sheep's legs, by the way. Just going to say that. But this is a really bloody image. And again, it's honestly so bloody, it's hard to make out what's actually going on, in my opinion. But as you can see, again, just the bloody image of the sheep. The floor, that is 100% the floor. I'm convinced that is the floor of Rosemary's death. This part here is confusing me a little bit because I feel like I see stuff when I honestly don't know if I do or not. It's almost like it's playing a trick with my eyeballs, which is never fun. But in general, I feel like this could be a multitude of things, and I actually think it's easier to see in the original image. But in my opinion, if we just zoom in a little bit, to me, it's a very difficult image to make out. I mean, it is very, very difficult. I mean, when I brightened it up, you can kind of just see more floor panels here. Then again, Jamie makes a good point there. It could be a window. But yeah, it's a very confusing image. It almost reminds me of the one image we got of the dining table with the blood splatter on the wall. Again, what is that teaser? Does anyone want to explain what that teaser could be? Could that be Jack murdering Felix? Could that be that one? But again, it's hard to make out on purpose. When it comes to this teaser in general, I just feel like it's going to go, again, from 0 to 100. And I know a lot of people are saying, in chat specifically, that this is just the sheep image that we saw at the start of the teaser, all bloodied up, because there's obviously blood from Rosemary's death. And I can understand that. I can definitely understand that. But there has to be a reason this was shown. There has to be. Like, genuinely there has to be a reasoning, because there's no way they're going to just blur out the sheep's face. They're not going to blur out the sheep's face for any reason. The black box from the original start of the teaser, of course, was still there, which is fair. I think that black box is there for a reason, because the black box has been there ever since episode 2 with the files, literally with the block of the black block on the file case to block off, I'm assuming, Jack Walten. And I think that's just in general, this image right here is going to play a big factor. I think it's going to play a really cool factor in what's actually going down, and ultimately, in general, I think it's a very cool image. I think it's really, like, in general, it's a really disturbing image as well, and I love it for that, to be honest. However, if we do, of course, go back to our teaser here and let it play out for a little bit more, of course, it gets more and more disturbing as the video goes on, because, you know, without a doubt, it's one of the creepiest teasers we've ever gotten. Comes even scarier. As typical Walten fashion, it just gets scarier as time goes on. And I just think that in general, this thing right here, this teaser, is a really strong start for the Walten Files, in my opinion. We have a theory coming in from Marco and Sha. Let's read that. My theory is this is Rosemary getting stuffed into Sha, because of the bloodied up sheep with the blurred out face being Rose's face in the sheep. That would also make a lot of sense in consideration. I think that looks like blood and guts. It would make a lot of sense, considering if if Rosemary gets decapitated, legs gone and arms gone, I would imagine that in case of, also, by the way, that's flowers at the start of the video. That is blood and guts. I think that's confirmed it. Sorry, I just realized that off the top of my head just there out of the blue. They're flowers, and as soon as it gets bloody, that turns into more like goo. So that is actually blood and guts. I'm actually surprised I got that right for once. But yeah, it definitely means something. Of course, the black box, I would love to see what's behind there, because it almost looks like that sheep is carrying something, or lamb, whatever it might be. I'm actually really curious if that image is on Google anywhere. If that image right there is on Google anywhere, and you can see just whatever is in the yellow thing. I'm curious if it's a book or some sort. But of course, eventually this teaser will start to morph into our good old friend Rosemary. And this is what happens. Yep, it's very loud. It's extremely loud. Until eventually we get our good friend Sha popping up to say hi, of course. Yes, hello Sha. How are you doing? How are you doing, Sha? Yes, hello. Yep. How are you doing? As Sha gets up to leave. Now, a lot of people are saying that's actually a note. I would highly imagine so. It could be a get well soon card, yeah, that's someone saying in the chat. I mean, it would be very ironic if this says get well soon, in consideration that the person we see is supposed to get well soon is torn in half, pretty much, and torn limb from limb. To me, that is just kind of crazy. Anyone else? That's just my opinion. But this has to be, I mean, I found the mini-sode really creepy, and this is honestly scarier than the mini-sode. In my opinion, I think this teaser ends off with Sha having Rosemary being stuffed. For all we know, that scene right there could be the ending scene after Rosemary goes through Wonderland. And honestly, it would be really interesting to see how the souls of the suits interact with the actual environment while being in the suit. Because of course we see Banny like walking around in Lacrimosa, kind of like wondering what in God's name is going on. But it's just so creepy, the fact that in Sha's case, Sha gets used again. I'm pretty sure, right? Sha doesn't get decommissioned. Oh, never mind. Sorry, Sha is the reason the restaurant shuts down. My bad. Sorry, apologies. I got the timeline mixed up. But in general, it'd be really cool if that scene at the end of this teaser is like, is basically Rosemary getting up in the body of Sha and going around like, what the hell's going on? What's happening? What's going on? Basically, like a lost soul. Someone just said it does say get well. Someone's found the old image and it says get well soon. Okay, that's ironic. I mean, in a way, I don't know why there's a black box over get well soon. I mean, to me, if there was in my opinion, if that actually, unless they have something underneath the black box, of course, I think it would be really cool if this black box was here for the entire end of the teaser, but like for the last frame, it just said get well soon. That'd be a pretty cool like way of having the get well soon included. But then again, it would make a lot of sense if there's something actually behind that black box instead of the get well soon. It would make a lot of sense, unless obviously there's some sort of like watermark or something that needed to be covered up, which again would make a lot of sense. But this teaser is easily the scariest we've ever gotten. It's also a very confusing one. It's straightforward and confusing at the same time. It's straightforward enough to know what it's symbolizing and stuff, but it's also confusing to try and make out what that first part of the teaser was, along with what actually happens at the end with Sha. Is that going to be an actual scene in episode 5? Honestly, I don't know. But I think it would be really awesome if we just saw Sha get up and start wandering around the location, because that would be absolutely terrifying. Of course, we have the photo that comes in of Rosemary, which is absolutely terrifying, of course, but that is by far the scariest teaser we've ever gotten with the Walten Files, in my opinion. It is super scary, it's super awesome, it's super well made, and of course Rosemary is giving us a little visit once again. Again, it's super creepy. I think this also confirms that the face of the end of the minisode is Rosemary. I know there was a theory going around that was Jack. I'm pretty sure that's officially confirming it to be Rosemary, because that was pretty much the exact same framing of how Rosemary's face looked at the end of that. Of course, we have Sha once again, but that is easily one of the scariest teasers we've got in the Walten Files lore and Walten Files history. As you can see, Sha looks like she is just getting up. As you can see, she gets up. You see the shoulder pad as it cuts off. Easily one of the most uncomfortable teasers to watch with the sound design as well. It is just creepy all around. I'd love to hear your thoughts as well. Do let me know, because I would love to hear people's thoughts on this one. There's definitely some divisive theories on this one, and I'd love to hear what you guys think of it.
First shot of this episode, Tammy picks this house.
Oh, what about that one?
Now, if you ask me, that is the, worst house you can pick. It has wallpaper on the outside.